Okay, back with you after a few hours break. I've had to let everything dry off. So I've managed to get the back of the gearbox clean. Still got to take the tail shaft down, which I'll do shortly. So I took some of the brackets off, especially the ones that hold the wiring harness on, such as that one there, and there's another one up there. I took that off. Right there is the little tag. Now that's a serial number and also a model number of the gearbox. Now that number matches up with the number in the engine bay as the correct gearbox for this car, so everything is all matching. The only thing that's not matching is the diff, so the serial number on the diff doesn't match, which makes sense. Because this car, or these series of cars, had a recall not long after they were out and about. They seemed to get a diff whine around about the 60,000 k mark. The diff started to whine, so they were recalled for that, and the diffs were replaced. So anyway, so everything's clean. I've got to recoat that. So I'm going to do a little bit more cleaning because there's still a little bit of oil down back here. So you can still see it's a little bit wet. So I've got to recoat all that because I want to keep this car well and truly protected. It doesn't have any rust in it at all. There is no rust at all anywhere. Other than the rust that was in the battery box, on the battery bracket, and right on the inner guard, right near the battery bracket, which I've since repaired. So that'll never come back. It was treated with Pour 15 rust converter, and it had many coats of white paint put over the top of it. It's only raw white paint, as I didn't want it looking any different from the rest of the paint. So that's all been fixed. So at this stage, I'm going to take this tail shaft out, which is down here. There's a nice bright light there. Hang on, let's see if we can get it. So I'm going to undo the 4 bolts there and take the tail shaft out. So I'm using a mobile phone, which is not great for recording. So this is a tail shaft. The diameter of the tail shaft is 95mm. With 1mm thick tubing. It's classified as being heavy duty. The universal joints are the standard universal joints for the car. They were replaced when the tail shaft was made. Although I do have another set of tail shaft universal joints to put on there, but I think these are okay. Last time I checked it, they were fine. It's only done a few thousand Ks since the tail shaft was even done. Another job that I've got to do is adjust the handbrake as well. It does come up a little bit high. There's two adjustments on the handbrake for this car. This is the main one. So this one goes up to the handbrake lever itself, and that's the cable that come out. The handbrake cables themselves that go to the disc brakes have been replaced. That's why they look a little bit on the shiny side, although they have been there for a while. They've been there about 10 years, I think. So yeah, I'm going to get in and doing this. So the diff has got a bit of, well, it needs a bit of a clean up. It's got a bit of oil, especially on the sway bar. Can you see that mark on the sway bar there? Yeah, that's from oil coming from the rear seal and just general dirt driving it around. So I'm going to clean that up and get that nice and clean. All the suspension and all that was painted, I don't know, about 10 years ago. It's getting a little bit old and manky now, so I think I might be looking at repainting it again. The diff was painted when it was done up. I had it resurfaced again and new bearings put in it. I didn't change the gear ratio. The gear ratio is 3.89, which seems to be the noisy diff ratio for these. So this is a Borg Warner 78 series diff. It's a 4-pinion diff, 28 spline axle. The axles are quite big. They're very heavy duty axles. No way I'd ever blow this diff up in this car. It just does not have enough horsepower. Even turboing it still would handle it quite well. So as you can see, the rest of the car is pretty good. It did spend a little bit of time in the country, not a great deal, so there is a little bit of red dust here and there, but basically it's pretty good. Nothing needs replacing. I did do all the bushes in this some time ago. So it does have all nylethane bushings in it. They call them nylethane. The whole lot's been done. All the arms, these big long drag links have been done. The sway bar's been done. There's new bushes in the link there on the saddle mounts there. There's new bushings on there. You can probably see the red one over there. Okay, so they're red and black. Some were red, some were black. Don't know the reason for that. But anyway, just how it is. I don't know what happened to the paint there. It seems to be a little bit of a different colour on the yoke there. It's a bit of a red colour where the diff is orange. Don't ask me what happened there. Anyway, it did happen. I'm going to also paint the tail shaft. It's getting quite a few scratches and dings and nicks on it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what that is. No idea. There's a few little marks here and there, so I'm going to repaint it. The exhaust pipe, it's 2.5 inch. Yeah, it looks basically the same size as the tail shaft, too. I don't know, it's a little bit smaller. Gauge for yourself, eh? Still got to take this wire out. That came from the engine bay. I think it was hooked up to a circuit breaker. It disappears into there and it's been siliconed in. Now, that was something that was done prior to me buying the car. So that was probably done when the car was new. Because I've had the car 26 years and the original owner had it for 4. I'm the second owner of this car. So it was probably done way back then. It was driven back from the eastern states, I believe. It was brought in Dandenong, Nissan and Dandenong, Victoria, and it was a special order. So this car is a full house. It's got every single option you could possibly think of. The car was given everything. So this just gives you a bit of a look at inside the car. There's a bit of a dent in the floor over there. Don't know how that happened, but I'm going to end up pushing it out. Don't know if you can see it. So a bit of a concave in there. Right side seems to be okay. That's all good. There's a jack mark on the subframe there. Don't know what I can do about that. Probably not worthwhile mucking around with it. There's another one there. I tend to use blocks of wood, big thick blocks of wood to jack the car up with. Somebody tried to jack it up. I have no idea. Wasn't me. No idea how that happened. So anyway, this is where I am at the moment. So I'm going to get in and take this tail shaft out. Idea to take tail shaft out is to replace the seal there on the yoke, which has been leaking, weeping actually. It's not been leaking. It's been weeping a little bit of oil because there was a bit of oil around there again after I'd already cleaned it. And there's a bit of oil here. That bolt there, there's another one on the other side there. You can see that one there. That's the mount for the centre bearing for the original tail shaft. It is the only modification that's been done to this car. It was an upgrade modification to take out the centre bearing. So I put a 1-piece tail shaft in it instead of a 2-piece tail shaft with a centre bearing. The centre bearings were renowned for causing shimmy on takeoff. normally because the rubber bushing that held the bearing would perish, and of course the tail shaft would flop around a little bit and cause a bit of shimmy. This car doesn't do that at all. In actual fact, it dries like it's brand new. There is no shimmies, no wobbling or anything at all. The car is very, very smooth to drive. Not exactly quiet, not with a 2.5-inch exhaust system and a straight through muffler. It's a little on the noisy side. I'd say it's got a nice note, similar to V8s and that. Catalytic converter there. I don't think there's anything in that. I have no idea. The exhaust was put on about 20 years ago. It's never ever been taken off. It's got a set of mandrel bent extractors on it. They were custom made. You can just see the sensor down there, the oxygen sensor. This is a 3-wire one. I'm just going to fix up that harness a little bit more. It seems to be floating around a little bit, so the bolts there that you can see are the mount bolts for the gearbox. There's the other ones there. Yeah, just getting everything all nice and clean. Trying to keep the car clean can be a bit of a job for these. Not really renowned for oil leaks, just that has been leaking out that seal, and that's what's caused all this muck underneath the car. All this black stuff that you see here, that's going brown or being stained by brown, red rust or whatever you want to call it. That's rust proofing. The whole car was done. Now this was done at the Nissan factory. It's a factory job. It also come with a factory fitted tow bar. It has Nissan stamped on it, so it was a factory tow bar. It also come with a few other little other things as well. As I said, it come with every option that you could possibly think of. So anyway, yeah, I think this is long enough. I think I've shown enough. I've got to get in and get this tail shaft out. It's one of the jobs I wanted to get done today. Then I'll see about replacing that seal sometime tomorrow. So today is Saturday. I didn't want to spend the whole weekend working on my car. So anyway, I'll leave for now. Enjoy the video. I hope these videos are raw, by the way. I don't edit them. I just shoot them and post them up. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. All right. Ciao.